Imagine a vast, empty stretch of land on the outskirts of a bustling city. This is the West Mesa of Albuquerque, New Mexico. For years, it was just a barren landscape, a place people passed by without a second thought. But in February 2009, that all changed. A woman walking her dog stumbled upon a human bone, and in doing so, unearthed one of America's most chilling and perplexing unsolved mysteries. What followed was a massive excavation, a painstaking search that would last for months. As investigators sifted through the dry, unforgiving earth, the true horror of the West Mesa began to reveal itself. They didn't just find one set of remains. They found two, then three, then four. The number kept climbing. By the time the search was over, a shallow, unmarked graveyard had yielded the remains of 11 women and an unborn child. The site became known as the Bone Collector's dumping ground. Who were these women? As the victims were identified, a tragic pattern emerged. Many were young, mostly in their 20s and 30s. They were mothers, daughters, and sisters. They came from difficult backgrounds, often struggling with addiction and involved in sex work to survive. Their lives were lived on the margins of society, which made them vulnerable, easy targets for a predator who knew they likely wouldn't be missed right away. Their names were Jamie Barella, Monica Candelaria, Victoria Chavez, Virginia Cloven, Selania Edwards, Cinnamon Elks, Doreen Marquez, Julie Nieto, Veronica Romero, Evelyn Salazar, and Michelle Valdez. It's important we remember their names, not just the grim statistics. The disappearances began around 2001 and continued until about 2005. One by one, these women vanished from the streets of Albuquerque. Families filed missing persons reports, but with the chaotic nature of their lifestyles, the cases often went cold. No one connected the dots. No one realized a serial killer was actively hunting in their city. The sheer number of victims, all disposed of in the same remote area, pointed to a single, methodical killer. Someone with knowledge of the area, someone who could operate without being seen. The investigation was immense. The FBI joined local law enforcement, creating a massive task force. They chased down thousands of tips, interviewed hundreds of people, and looked into every possible lead. The nature of the crimes suggested the killer might be someone who used their position of authority or trust to lure victims. Was he a truck driver? A construction worker familiar with the West Mesa? Or someone else hiding in plain sight? One of the earliest and most prominent persons of interest was a man named Lorenzo Montoya. He had a history of violence and was known to frequent the areas where the victims were last seen. In a strange twist of fate, Montoya himself was killed in 2006, just a year after the last known victim disappeared, shot by a man whose girlfriend Montoya was attacking. Some investigators believe Montoya could have been the killer, and his death explains why the murders suddenly stopped. But there was no direct physical evidence linking him to the burial site. It was a compelling theory, but far from a closed case. Then, the investigation took another turn, focusing on a different type of suspect. Photographs of several of the victims, unconscious or possibly deceased, were found in the possession of a man named Joseph Blee during a separate investigation. Blee was a convicted serial rapist. This was a shocking development. Could he be the bone collector? He was already serving multiple life sentences for his other horrific crimes. While he remains a strong person of interest, and many believe he is responsible, authorities have never been able to definitively link him to the West Mesa murders. He has denied any involvement, leaving investigators at another frustrating dead end. The list of potential suspects didn't stop there. Over the years, the task force has looked at dozens of individuals. One theory that gained traction was that the killer might be connected to a local photography business. A man named Ron Irwin, who ran a photo studio, was investigated. He had taken pictures of some of the victims and had a history of concerning behavior. He died by suicide in 2009 as police were closing in to question him, leaving behind a note that some interpreted as a confession, though it was cryptic and didn't explicitly admit to the murders. Was his death an admission of guilt, or the act of a man who couldn't handle the pressure of the investigation? We may never know for sure. The complexity of this case is staggering. We have multiple victims, all from a similar background, dumped in the same location. We have several strong persons of interest, but no conclusive proof against any of them. Each lead seems to open up more questions than answers. The possibility that the killer is still out there, or that he died before he could be brought to justice, haunts the families of the victims and the city of Albuquerque. The burial site itself offers few clues. The bodies were skeletonized, making it incredibly difficult to determine the exact cause of death or to find trace evidence like DNA from the killer. The killer was careful. He chose a remote location, buried his victims, and vanished without a trace. It speaks to a level of criminal sophistication that is truly terrifying. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a calculated, repeated act of predation. More than a decade has passed since that grim discovery on the West Mesa. For the families of the 11 women, the pain is constant. They are left without answers, without justice, and without closure. They gather at the site each year to remember their loved ones, a solemn memorial cross for each woman standing as a stark reminder of the lives that were stolen. These families have shown incredible strength, becoming advocates and demanding that the case not be forgotten. They fight to ensure their daughters and sisters are remembered as human beings, not just as victims of an unsolved crime. The West Mesa case is a dark stain on American true crime history. It's a story about a monster who preyed on the vulnerable and a system that may have failed them. The investigation remains open. The Albuquerque Police Department and the FBI continue to work the case, hoping that one day, a new piece of evidence, a new technology, or a witness finally coming forward will break the silence. Maybe someone watching this knows something. A strange encounter, a suspicious friend or family member, a story they overheard years ago that didn't make sense at the time. Sometimes the smallest detail can be the key that unlocks the entire mystery. The story of the West Mesa Bone Collector is a chilling reminder that evil can lurk just beneath the surface, hidden in plain sight. It's a puzzle with too many pieces missing, a ghost that still lingers over the New Mexico desert. Until the killer is identified, the souls of Jamie, Monica, Victoria, Virginia, Selania, Cinnamon, Doreen, Julie, Veronica, Evelyn, and Michelle will not be able to truly rest in peace. And the question will remain, who got away with murder on the West Mesa? Thank you for watching. If you have any information regarding the West Mesa murders, please contact the Albuquerque Police Department or the FBI. Your tip could be the one that finally brings justice for these women and their families. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into complex cases. Stay safe out there.